All right, what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to another episode here on Just Ballin'. Today, we are doing another mock draft reaction. I am just loving the draft content right now, just from around the league, around all these media outlets. I feel like we didn't get a ton of it throughout non-conference play to start off the college season, and we just reacted to an ESPN mock. I dropped a 2-round mock draft on this channel. I dropped my top 30 prospect rankings for the 2025 draft over on the Srosh channel. You can check that out. And today we're going to be reacting to Bleacher Report's full 2-round mock draft predictions and pro comparisons, which I'm excited to kind of go into the pro comparisons, see if I kind of agree or disagree. And if I disagree, who do I like as maybe a early pro comp right now? And then also, I think The Athletic dropped the mock, so we're going to be reacting to that maybe later this week or early next week as well. Obviously, don't want to do all these like mock draft reactions all in one, kind of want to spread them out a little bit. So if you guys are watching on YouTube compared to audio, I'm on the Bleacher Report website. Their Dallas Mavericks logo, kind of interesting that they have for like the upcoming game tonight against the Nuggets when I'm recording this. So yeah, pretty much we're gonna have Cooper Flagg go number 1. To no shocker, Cooper Flagg is gonna go to the Washington Wizards. He has a mock, obviously number 1, and his pro comparison is Andre Kirilenko on defense and Jalen Johnson on offense. To be honest with you, pro comps are interesting because I guess for this he's maybe comparing it to a modern day player. I sometimes compare like a pro comp to obviously like what they were in college as well, and I don't know, from remembering like Jalen Johnson at Duke, I don't really get that vibe from Cooper Flagg. This is a funny facial reaction as he had a poster. Was that against Pitt? I think so. I could be completely wrong there, but either way, Cooper Flagg dropped 42, ACC record for a freshman against Notre Dame over the weekend. And it felt like everybody was now talking about Cooper Flagg. Like any conversations we had about Dylan Harper going number 1, which I think are legit because Dylan Harper has shown number 1 prospect potential this season, but Cooper Flagg is arguably the best defensive player in the country as a freshman, not even the best defensive prospect, the best defensive player, and then also somebody that could drop 42 points, 3-point shot look good, just able to get to the rim, finish with contact, get to the free throw line, and knock down his free throws. He was incredible over the weekend, and he's no question the number 1 overall pick right now. And I think something would have to change drastically for him not to be number 1, and I think even like Dylan Harper continues to play better and better. He just came back from, I think I'm missing some time, and he had like 14 or 18 points last night for Rutgers, but I'm going to assume he has him going number 2. The Kirilenko defensive comp, honestly, I think Cooper Flagg could be better than Kirilenko. Maybe I'm disrespecting Kirilenko and what AK-47 was defensively, but I think he could be better than that in this league. And people are going to stop throwing around generational. Like, he's not generational. Wemby, LeBron, KD, those guys are generational. I would even say maybe Anthony Davis could have been generational as a prospect, but Cooper Flagg is a damn good one. I think when you're talking about like the best defensive prospects over the last 15 years out of college, for somebody of like two-way ability at the top, I think it starts with Anthony Davis. I think Cooper Flagg is right there. He's probably better than maybe Chet, because Chet really came out as a two-way defensive stud out of Gonzaga. So yeah, Cooper Flagg going number 1 to Washington. I was listening to a podcast, the One Shining podcast, on the Ringer. Love it, for college basketball. And he was like, the host was like basically saying that if David Stern was running the NBA, we'd see Jaylen Brown go to like DC to run his own team, and Cooper Flagg would be a Boston Celtic, and they would just sell a ton of jerseys, which honestly, kind of would be on board about. That'd be kind of sick, not gonna lie. But it would not be Washington that would need the number 1 pick. Like, I don't think they would trade Cooper Flagg on a rookie contract for Jaylen Brown in the rebuild. It's a fun exercise. I think the only team that would make sense, I don't know. This is the dumbest idea that I'm now going on a tangent on, but maybe if like New Orleans got the number 1 overall pick, maybe, but yeah, let's move on. Number 2, we have, speaking of New Orleans, Dylan Harper going there. His Dylan Harper comp is Kobe White, a bigger Jalen Brunson, and Cade Cunningham. I low-key like the Cade Cunningham comp a little bit more than Brunson, because I think from what you're comparing Brunson at Nova, Kobe White at UNC, and Cade Cunningham at Oklahoma State, I think like right now you're seeing Cade be able to finish almost against anybody and can blow by almost anybody. Like, he just torched the Knicks basically at MSG. He picked up the win for the Pistons, and he's been playing, I tweeted out like a top 10 player, borderline in the league this year, and that came across some traction on Twitter. But for Harper, man, his ball handling ability is some of the best in the country, and he's able to use so many different dribble moves to get by multiple defenders and then finish with contact at the rim. I could legitimately see the Cade Cunningham comparisons. I don't know the size difference, but like somebody that's 6'6", 215, we'll see how accurate that's going to be at the combine. But man, I think Dylan Harper is pretty close to Cade Cunningham as a prospect, and he would be number 1 overall in this draft. I think not by a decent margin, but I think the clear number one if Cooper Flagg didn't reclassify. So I think what Dylan Harper is doing is incredible this year. I think he's a clear number two. I would be very shocked if somebody didn't have Dylan Harper number two. And I think New Orleans is a good fit for him because he can play with and without DeJounte Murray. I'm not going to go into the DeJounte Murray thing. I've gone into it before, but I think you can hopefully phase out and find another team that could take on DeJounte Murray, and then you'll reap the benefits. And then it's just a growing thing in the NBA that once you trade DeJounte Murray, it's for the better. Happened out for San Antonio, and it's currently happening for Atlanta as well. But the Big Ten, I know, is a very controversial conference this year. Who's the best in the Big Ten? Are they overrated or are they underrated as a conference? Rutgers, though, it's unfortunate they're not going to make the tournament unless they win the Big Ten conference championship. So, yeah, we have Ace Bailey going to Toronto. Oh, man. Okay, I feel like I want to do an Ace Bailey breakdown here before I even get into the comp. If you don't have Ace Bailey as a top 10 prospect, I legitimately think you are trying to be edgy. You are. I think you're trying to be different. You're trying to be a contrarian, and you're trying to, I don't know about get clicks, but you're trying to just be different than the norm. Do I think Ace Bailey is a consensus top 3 prospect? No, I am fine if you have Ace Bailey as low as 6. But if you're going to look at me with a straight face and say, I don't know, I'd rather have Nolan Traore than Ace Bailey, or I'd rather have just, I don't know, Cam Jones, Janai Broom, Liam McNeeley than Ace Bailey. I just disagree. I know there's a lot of things wrong with Ace Bailey's game. I do. And there's a lot of teams I don't like Ace Bailey's fit on. Toronto may be one of them as well, because Ace Bailey needs to work on his ability to create better shots, because he's got a fun highlight tape. He does. And he loves this thing where he'll pick up his dribble a little too early and he'll do the fadeaway jumper, and it goes in. It does. But at the NBA level, you want to get to the rim a little bit more. You want to try to find your first read, maybe make a play, and not always be a score first guy, which I think him and Dylan Harper are using college more so as a development for their offensive games rather than trying to win. Like, they don't really care, like, to be blunt, like, they don't care about their teammates. They don't this year. They care about their draft stock, which is completely fine. I don't really care too much. Maybe if I was a Rutgers fan, I would care about that a little bit more. But they're trying to get to the NBA and mold their game the best way possible where they can succeed at the NBA level. And I think we're seeing the growing pains with Bailey this year. And you're going to tell me somebody that's 6'10", that can handle the ball very well. 6'10", 6'10". That is the same size as Derek Queen that we're going to get to most likely in this mock, the center from Maryland. His pro comp, Brandon Miller, Michael Porter Jr. Like, he's going through to Toronto. If you do not have Ace Bailey in your top 10, I think that's insane. I think it's insane if you don't have him in your top 7. He's my number 3 prospect still. I could get behind Kasparas, maybe ahead of Ace. But, man, anybody else, you really got to sell me on that, because I'm not buying it. I think even if he's Michael Porter Jr., Michael Porter Jr. is a good player. I know he doesn't pass the ball. You know how many busts there are every year? You know how many? So I think if you're getting even 80% of what Michael Porter Jr. is, that's a top 10 pick regardless. So I've seen people on Twitter, like, comes up on my For You, or just somebody replies and it pops up where they don't have him in the top 12, top 15, top 20. I disagree with that. That's my Ace Bailey rant for the day. Brandon Miller, I could definitely see as well. We'll see how the 3-point shot is going to look consistently over time. But I think I would like to see just the rest of the year, Ace Bailey working on other things outside of scoring, because there's some bad shot selection for sure. There's some bad court vision. There's some bad defense at times. But the ball handling, the finishing at 6'10", not at the rim, but overall hitting tough shots, like, there's something there. I think fit matters so much. I don't mind Toronto's development system. I think it's more so his fit with the guys already there. With Barrett and Scotty Barnes, I don't love it. I think there's very few fits that I do like for Bailey. Washington, I mean, I could come around on it. I could. I think Utah would probably be one of his best fits for sure. And I wouldn't mind Brooklyn either. I think he needs a good coach. I like Jordy Fernandez. I like Will Hardy as developmental guys for this team. I like Darko Rajakovic, and I don't mind Charles Lee and Charlotte. I get scared about those positions. Like, I would hate Ace Bailey in New Orleans or Charlotte right now. Speaking of Charlotte, Edgecombe going 4. I like this a ton. I really do. Edgecombe right now I think could be a perfect complementary piece to Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball over there in Charlotte. He could be right in between them. He's not going to be able to, I think, be a consistent shooter right away, but I just watched LaMelo take, I think, 17 threes against the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, I think we just need more well-rounded basketball players on this team. I think VJ Edgecombe, the motor, the competitive gene he has, and the defensive potential is exactly what I think Charles Lee needs around your 2 offensive building blocks in LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. So I love this fit a ton. I really do. And I'd be okay. Like, I have Kasparas Jakucionis above Edgecombe on my big board, but I think if this draft fell for Charlotte, I like Edgecombe a lot more than Kasparas. I do. His comp, Andrew Wiggins, Iman Shumpert. I like Iman Shumpert, but like the way he plays a little bit more than Wiggins, but I also don't hate the Wiggins idea. And I honestly think he's like the most, or one of the most athletic players in this draft. I think it's like him. I think it's Rasheer Fleming that are up there. Cooper Flagg's an incredible athlete as well, but Edgecombe can really jump out of the gym. And I think we're doing athletic comps, like Amen Thompson and Sword Thompson, maybe generational like athletes for who they are individually. But I think Edgecombe reminds me a little bit of them, not 100% of them because he's not as athletic, but he's up there. He's an incredible athlete as well. And I'm excited to see how he continues to improve his draft stock, or maybe drops a little bit over Big 12 play. Kasparas Jakucionis going to Utah. I love this fit as well. Funny, we do have a white dude going to Utah here. Get your jokes out of the way. His player comp is Chauncey Billups. Okay, I've not even thought of that. That's interesting. I was going to say, like, not Josh Giddey, because that may be more like a Egor Demin comp. I think it's just more like you're finding somebody that can handle the rock at 6'6". He's incredibly young. His IQ is off the charts, and I think Utah could definitely use somebody like that. I actually like Kasparas Jakucionis in Utah a ton, because I think Will Hardy can really get the best out of Kasparas. And he's going to be able to be the point guard right away. You can now, I think, move Keontae George a little bit off the ball, which could help him out with his shot selection and really his just overall workload that he has in Utah right now, because I know he's kind of a score first guy, but I think Kasparas, like dishing it to Sensabaugh and George and Hendricks, I think it'd be something like Utah needs that guy. And I don't know if Kasparas is that guy. Like Cooper Flagg is that guy. Dylan Harper could be that guy. Can Kasparas be that guy where you're going to be one of the worst teams in the NBA this year and you're going to end up with Kasparas? Because that's, I think, encouraging. But like the last couple of years, you've been really bad and you've ended up with Cody Williams and Taylor Hendricks in the top 10. Not maybe where you want to be. And it's funny because I like Hendricks and it sucks he's out for the year. But Sensabaugh and George have shown a lot more than Hendricks so far. And Collier and Filipowski in a very small sample size this year, because more so they're on the NBA roster and Cody Williams has been up and down from the G League, have shown more than Cody Williams. So I don't know. Maybe Utah's going to hit or miss on this pick and then they're going to hit on the next ones. But they need to find that guy. And I'm excited to see what Utah looks like over time as well. Will they move Market in? Will they move Kessler at the deadline? Which I don't think they should. But I like Kasparas in Utah. I do. And Chauncey Billups, I just don't remember Chauncey Billups too much at college. I mean, it was before my time as well. That's probably why I don't. Jeremiah Fears, whoa, 6. All right. I mean, this team needs a point guard. They do. And Jeremiah Fears is somebody that is going to take a little bit of time to develop. Like right away, I can't see him being super polished. Jaden Ivey, I see that comparison. I do. But Jaden Ivey, I feel like was a little bit more built out. Jeremiah Fears is skinny right now. And I wonder if that's going to affect his finishing, his contact, his or his ability to absorb contact at the rim against these bigger, stronger NBA defenders. But I like the idea of him in Brooklyn. I think he could definitely benefit for a team that's into this rebuild. Reports coming out that they don't really want to be attached to any Jimmy Butler rumor in the offseason. They're not interested. They're basically rebuilding. And I think that's a good spot for Jeremiah. And I like that. I like Tre Johnson, though. But I think when you're looking at this Nets team, if Cam Thomas is on my roster, I don't want him and Tre Johnson. I think they're kind of similar as prospects, as like, I think Tre Johnson's player comp could be Cam Thomas just because of the shot making ability, but not a lot else. So I don't mind that, and I think Jeremiah Fears would be my next point guard off the board. With Harper already drafted, Jakucionis already drafted, I'm starting to like Fears a little bit more than Egor Demin, and I like him more than Fland and LeBaron Philon right now, and then obviously Nolan Traore. So I'm cool with that. His player comp is Ivy and Russ. We'll see the Russ. That's a generous comp. So we have Asa Newell, going to the Portland Trailblazers at 7. Low-key hate this fit. I don't know. I think you have Denny there. I mean, you could bump Denny to the 3. I mean, they got to figure out what's going on over there in Portland with Scoot Henderson. What's Simon's future on this team? Can we get the most out of Sharp? I think they're going to have a new head coach next year. I would like some other guys on this team than Asa Newell. Like, to be honest, it sucks because Portland's not going to lose as many games right now to get a better pick. Like, if they end up at 7, that stinks. But I would just go like Liam McNeeley, Kon Knueppel, one of those guys. Then Asa, who I don't think is going to be able to be that good of a floor spacer, at least right away. And him and Klingon in the front court seems a little bit clunky. So I would look at one of those guys. And I know you don't want another like score first wing or guard, but like the value of Tre Johnson here could be appealing. do you just look at Boogie Flan or Nolan Traore if you believe Scoot is not going to be the player you originally thought? Bobby Portis, Jalen Smith, Marvin Bagley Jr. All of those guys have been like able to shoot threes, but like Jalen Smith, not really as much coming out of Maryland. I feel like Bobby Portis maybe not coming out of Arkansas. Marvin Bagley, I feel like could shoot it at Duke. So I mean, that might be a little encouraging, but he's an incredible athlete, incredible rim runner, and him in like the dunker spot. If Clingan could develop some playmaking ability, that could be a fun 2-man game, but I think it's a weird fit. Khaman Maluach going to the Thunder at 8. I like this just because I think he's a developmental guy as well. They get this pick via Philadelphia, and Jay Wells eventually maybe going to be not attainable to them. Same with Harnstein in 3 years. Like maybe they can't extend him for the apron stuff when Chet's getting paid and Shea's getting paid and J-Dub's getting paid. So Khaman could be somebody that could replace, I guess, the backup center role over time on a 4-year deal, and you can let him grow. And I think he could be an elite rim protector and a good shot blocker and have somewhat of an offensive game, but it's going to take some time. It is. His comp right now is Alex Sarr. I like Sarr's defense. He was playing, I don't know, because Khaman, I think, is somebody we don't want to judge over the first half of the college season. I'm pretty sure John Shire said that as well. Like, judge him over the second half and watch him grow over the course of this year. And I think we're going to see that. It helps, I think, his defense at times that he's playing with Cooper Flagg next to him. But hey, you go to OKC, you're going to have some incredible defenders next to you as well. And I think that's just a good place for him to grow. And it'd just be funny if OKC ends up with 8. Like, we thought this was going to be the Clippers pick at 8 that OKC could get. And it just ends up being Philadelphia. Tre Johnson going to Chicago at 9. Oh, yeah. I mean, sign me up for this. I know this is probably not the position of need for Chicago, and they maybe would be a little bit better off getting a big here. But I don't know if, like, Derek Queen is, like, the home run pick they should be going for at 9. And with Khaman off the board, I think this would be high for, like, Danny Wolf or Thomas Sorber, even though I do like Sorber a little bit. Kind of creeping into that lottery conversation out of Georgetown. But Tre Johnson, this seems a little low for him here at number 9. Chicago's a weird fit, though, just because you have Kobe and you have Ayo Dosunmu. I mean, if I had my way with Chicago's future, I would test the market for pretty much Ayo Dosunmu. I think I'm okay with the Kobe White contract right now. You could extend him. Then you can have those conversations in the offseason, but you need Zach LaVine off your team. You need Nikola Vucevic off your team. And luckily for them here, they get to keep their pick at 9. But if they end up at 11, that goes to San Antonio, and this is a disaster of a season. But I think for Chicago, what they're going to be in their rebuild, go best player available, and that is Tre Johnson, in my opinion, on this board. His player comp is Allen Houston. Shout out the Knicks, man. I like that, but I'd honestly say like Cam Thomas, a little bit of a more recent guy that I'm starting to get that feel of, because Tre Johnson, it was a little like worrisome. First 2 games in conference play were bad, and then he had a great game against Tennessee, one of the best defensive like backcourts in the country with Chaz and Zakai over there. So number 10, we got Ben Saraf going to the San Antonio Spurs. Is this comp? I want to see if it's Manu Ginobili. It is Manu Ginobili. Oh my God. I've been starting to feel that watching him. And I guess that's a popular thing. I think The Athletic likes that comparison for him too. And at Ratio, like Saraf is basically playing very good competition over there. And I like his playmaking ability for somebody of his size. We'll see how the shot falls because it hasn't been great this year. And I know you're going to maybe throw another non-shooter around Wemby, which they did with Castle, at least like right now. And like Keldon Johnson shot, kind of not falling as much. And Shoan obviously being inconsistent from 3. So they're going to have another first round pick. This is theirs. So they're going to have another one from the Hawks. And we still have Kon Knueppel on the board. We still have Liam McNeeley, Rasheer Fleming, Ian Jackson, some really good shooters on the board. So I'm okay going with maybe your potential point guard for the future and Ben Saraf. I really like that fit. And it's funny with the Ginobili fit, him going to San Antonio there at 6'5". So we have Golden State getting Kon Knueppel at 11. Yeah, I don't hate this. I mean, man, Golden State picking at 11 is kind of sad. But yeah, I am okay with them getting this good shooter. I like Kon's upside more than McNeeley. I'm still Kon over Liam right now, just because I think he could do a little bit more than shoot than Liam can. I think I trust his ball handling ability and his court vision more than McNeeley. I think they're kind of similar at finishing at the rim, because I think McNeely's better than I originally gave him credit for, but I like Kon's defense a little bit more as well. And I know his 3-point percentage isn't as good as McNeely's, but he's an elite free throw shooter. The form is outstanding. The shot diet is great. And I think it's going to be fine. And it's a quick release. He'd be great in Golden State. He would. But who knows what this Golden State team is going to look like and if they're even going to be picking him here. Pro comparison is Kevin Huerter. I think he's way more filled out than Kevin Huerter was at Maryland, and I think he's better of a prospect. But I see the comparisons, I do. But I would honestly say like McNeeley could be more like Huerter, so I'm interested to see his comp for McNeeley. So next up at number 12, we have Khaman Maluach going to the Houston Rockets. And this is like a funny one. So this one's via Phoenix because he's on Tari Eason in a way, but I could honestly see the comps like similar in size, like that tweener position at the 4 and the 5, and an incredible defender. And he had a really good offensive game over the weekend as well. And you're just kind of seeing what Murray-Boyles could be as a two-way player. And he could have been a lottery pick last year. And I'm glad his draft stock has gone maybe better this year because he's still a lottery pick in a much more competitive and better draft. His player comp is Julius Randle, which I could see that because like similar size coming out of Kentucky, Randle did have question marks with his 3-point shot. If Murray-Boyles could somehow shoot the ball, oh my god, man, he could end up being one of the steals in this draft class for what he can do defensively and as a good like playmaker for somebody of his size, good post defender, good post offensive player. But I think Houston could take a chance on 12. I'd rather them go a little bit more like upside offensively. They did that last year with Reed Shepard, but they have like Amen Thompson and Eason. Defensively, we'll see when these guys become free agents. Can they afford everybody? Maybe not. Maybe they get priced out on Tari Eason, for example, and Khaman Maluach ends up replacing him minutes-wise down the line. So I could see that, but I think this team could use some shooting, and I think Liam McNeeley, kind of an option there at 12 as well. So number 13, we have, okay, so we're doubling up on non-shooters, I guess. For San Antonio, we're getting Nolan Traore here at 13. Another big point guard with good court vision and good size and good defensive potential. Basically Ben Saraf. Now, they're different prospects overall. I do like Nolan Traore's court vision a little bit more than Saraf, but I do think Saraf does have a good first read. He can operate the pick and roll, navigate ball screens very well, and is playing better in Germany than right now Traore is playing in France. Just both of them going to the Spurs. I mean, we have Castle, who I guess you can have as a wing. I projected Castle to be a wing coming out of UConn. I know there was talks where his camp wanted to be a point guard. And remember that, like where his camp like only wanted him to go teams that would play him at point guard or didn't have a franchise point guard, so that like eliminated teams like Charlotte at the time or Atlanta. So I don't know. I think like take McNeeley here, get a good consistent shooter that you could trust going into this draft. Get Rasheer Fleming. I just don't really like Nolan Traore and Ben Saraf going to the San Antonio Spurs. His player comp is Lonzo Ball, which I could see. I actually don't hate that fit right, or that comparison right now. 14, Atlanta getting Liam McNeeley. I think this team could also look for some shooting as well. I actually like that fit a ton. This is via Sacramento. This pick, I believe, is top 12 protected, so they get it here at 14. I hope they probably hope that like Sacramento is the best team to not make the playoffs, basically, and they're picking at 14 or 13. And I think this is a good shooter around Trae Young, who, man, is going to get some great looks. And I think that could be really good for McNeeley's development, playing with arguably the best passing point guard in the NBA in Trae Young, who's going to lead the NBA in assists this year. So I'm a fan of that. His player comp for McNeeley is Keegan Murray. Whoa. All right. I mean, I think, he's 6'7", Kon is 6'6". Kon's a little bit more filled out, I believe. Yeah, a little bit, like he's about 10 pounds heavier. I don't know about Keegan Murray. We'll see the defensive potential in McNeeley. Maybe I'm not seeing it right now because I think there was the signs of Murray at Iowa. It's just kind of disappointing Murray's 3-point shot this year. But I like his fit. I like McNeeley's fit in Atlanta. Noah Essengue going to Minnesota. Ooh. Minnesota's picking at 15. This is actually great for them. I would be kind of pissed as a Knicks fan because I wish we were able to trade the Wizards pick in that cat trade. Minnesota gets this Pistons pick from basically back when I believe this pick, I could be wrong, but I think this is the Jalen Duren pick that was traded to the Knicks for them to take Jalen Duren. Same draft, they got Ivy. There were some protections on it, and I believe it's like top 8 or 10 or 12 protected this year. And Detroit is 2019. They may ended up, I think that actually they're 21-19 after beating New York, or maybe they're 2019, whatever. They just beat the Knicks. So Minnesota could get the 15th overall pick because Detroit could definitely make the playoffs as an 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. It's just Noah Essengue, a little bit of a project player. Could he end up being like Jaden McDaniels without the 3-point shot? Maybe, because I think I like his defensive upside. I hate this fit. I really do. I would get Rasheer Fleming. If you're worried about Naz Reid leaving, you could look at backup center. You could look at Danny Wolf if you think he could play alongside Gobert. That's a little high, though, at 15, I would say. I like Cam Jones. I like Janai Broom. I'd just rather go a little bit of an upside play, or a little bit of a win-now-ready player than a project player. And his pro comparison is Jabari Walker and Precious Achiuwa. Just not the guy I really want in Minnesota. Egor Demin, like that's somebody I would probably have going there as well. Egor Demin going all the way to the Jazz at 16. What? All right, I think it's a little low for Egor. I know he's not been great in conference play, but oh man, he drops all the way to 16, which maybe is the range more than I think. It's just, you got Kasparas before. We're going to get Kasparas and Egor. I know there's the BYU-Utah connection. His comparison is Josh Giddey, which I actually mentioned that before. I just don't like them doubling up. So, like, yeah, I don't like the Spurs getting Traore and Ben Saraf in this draft, and I don't like Utah getting Kasparas and Egor Demin. I think we're kind of doubling up on things we don't need to. And I don't mind them getting 2-point wings, like, for sure. Egor, I think, can have a shot at the NBA level with his size of ball handling as well. And then maybe it's better you don't let him be the primary creator, because I think he's a little slow, like similar to Giddey. And Kasparas is, I think, a little bit better as a decision maker right now. At 17, all right, I guess we're really doubling up in this draft. OKC via the Clippers getting Derek Queen out of Maryland. We had them take Khaman Maluach before. They're getting Derek Queen here. I don't like that. Let me get Rasheer Fleming in OKC. I think they did it again with AJ Mitchell, and you have Caruso and Joe and Shea. Like, they don't maybe need a guard, but give me Rasheer Fleming with his athleticism and defensive upside, and he could be a stretch for in OKC. I don't like Derek Queen there. Derek Queen is an interesting prospect because he, I think, needs to work on the footwork a little bit, especially as a rim protector of somebody at 6'10", and I don't think he's going to have a shot enough. Like, Wendell Carter Jr. is a player comp. I mean, Wendell Carter Jr. developed the shot, but I think for him, he needs to really work on his ability as a rim protector, because I think he's more of a post-minded big. And that's just, like, we're doubling up a lot of the same archetypes in this draft. 18, we got Ian Jackson going to the Brooklyn Nets. Love that. You're giving me Ian Jackson. Who did they get earlier at 6? Jeremiah Fears. Hey, that could be the future backcourt right there, because I think Fears could be a good playmaker, and Ian Jackson a little bit more score first. I don't know how Ian Jackson and Cam Thomas really work out together. His player comp is Malik Beasley, but Ian Jackson can be a really good three-point shooter. I wonder, like, if Nick Claxton's going to be on this team next year, because I also like Thomas Sorber around this range as well. But I'm definitely fine with the Nets getting Ian Jackson and Jeremiah Fears. This is going to be a fun draft for the Nets since they have so many firsts. I wonder if they keep them all. OKC going Hugo Gonzalez at 19. Yeah, so we got Derek Queen, Khaman Maluach, and Hugo Gonzalez. This is 19 via the Miami Heat. I'm fine with this as well. I think this could be like, not Ousmane Dieng 2.0, but somebody that's going to spend a lot of time in the G League, where I think could benefit Hugo a ton, where he can actually get a lot of offensive reps that we're going to see throughout the summer league, see throughout the preseason, because at Real Madrid, he does not get those opportunities right now. A little bit more as of late, but the competition's great out there. He's a young player on that team, and I think could learn under a great development system in OKC. His pro comp is Jonathan Kuminga. Interesting. LeBaron Philon going to the Pacers at 20. I mean, I think you're taking somebody that could also be a little bit of a developmental project, and TJ McConnell is getting up there in age. You're going to maybe groom him to be basically the backup point guard behind Halliburton going forward. So I think that could be LeBaron there at number 20. I, for some reason, love Cam Jones in Indiana. That's who I would have going here. They could also use a backup center. I mentioned Thomas Sorber a ton. Maybe Danny Wolf if you want somebody that could also play alongside like Obi Toppin and Miles Turner and Siakam in that front court, and you can play him a different place, a bunch of different spots. So I wouldn't go LeBaron here. I would go Cam Jones or Danny Wolf if I was on the clock here. Pro comparison, Kobe Buffkin, 100% could see that. Atlanta getting Thomas Sorber 21 via the Lakers. I love this. Clint Capella is a free agent. They ended up getting, who did they get earlier? Was it Khan or was it McNeeley? No, it wasn't Khan. Atlanta ended up getting, oh, maybe it was McNeeley. It was McNeeley at 14. So we get McNeeley and Sorber. We're getting the, oh shit, I'm spoiling a little bit. We're getting the Big East here in this draft. But yeah, we're getting Thomas Sorber there at 21. I love that because Capella's a free agent. I don't think Onyeka Okongwu is really taking that step this year, which is kind of disappointing. It's fine though, and I think Sorber could be a really good rim protector. This man is a great post defender. He can set some really good screens in the pick and roll game with him and Trey. I think can eventually catch him alley-oops. I like that fit. His pro comp is Onyeka Okongwu though, which is funny. At 22, we're getting Nick Clifford to the Orlando Magic. Clifford is a very good scorer, which I'm cool with. Orlando, a good defensive team, prioritizing offense here. I just don't know about his three-point shot, which I think could be a little bit hit or miss, and there's some definitely, like, there's some more, I think, sure things as three-point shooters here, and that's what I would target if I were Orlando. I don't know why Rasheer Fleming is going this far down. Landry Fields is the pro comp, which I actually kind of like that. Now I'm picturing that. Never really thought of it from Landry Fields at Stanford, and I loved him on the Knicks, and he's what, the GM? No, he's the GM of the Atlanta Hawks. I'm fine with Nick Clifford here because they have another first via Denver. We'll see who he has him going there. And if it's a more minded three-point shooter, I'm okay with this pick. Dallas getting Boogie Flynn at 23. Oh, yeah. I like this because I think this is a good spot for Boogie. I think this is kind of low, though. Boogie Flynn is my number 9th ranked prospect, so I think he's going kind of low here in this mock. But he's a little bit undersized at 6'2". He's somebody that can finish at the rim, but I think could work on it a little bit. But a good three-point shooter. I think a good decision maker. 6'2", 175, you worry about the defense. Kemba Walker Pro Comp, I kind of like because of the shot-making ability and a little bit undersized. And I think could be someone that could develop with really good veteran guards there, right? In Luka and Kyrie. And then in a couple years, Jaden Hardy is playing well right now. Do you get priced out of Jaden Hardy? And then Boogie Flynn can get more reps going forward. 24, Orlando getting Alex Tui over there in Sydney. Kind of a borderline first-round pick right now and can be a good three-point shooter at the NBA level. So makes that Nick Clifford pick look a little bit better. I think Rasheer Fleming should have been off the board. And I kind of love the idea of Rasheer Fleming in Orlando. So I'm going to just say everybody next up should be Rasheer Fleming. Tui's pro comp is Austin Reeves, which I've seen a ton. Oh my God. Memphis getting Rasheer Fleming at 25. I love. Give me like, oh my God, Rasheer Fleming playing next to Triple J and Zach Edey. That's kind of fun. It's kind of fun because I think, man, he could be a 3-and-D stretch 4 in this league with great athleticism. Oh yeah, I like it because he's got a great wingspan, good size, good lateral quickness. Maybe not as strong right now as you'd like to see, but he is a great athlete, can run the floor. He's shooting 40+% from 3. Not a good free throw shooter, so I worry about it a little bit. I think he's way more athletic and a great ball handler and plays, I think, a different game than Taylor Hendricks, who's his pro comp, than what Hendricks did at UCF. Next up at 26, we have a dude Diarra going to the Nets. This is via the New York Knicks. I like this too. They went a little bit more of just kind of going freshman earlier with, who is it, Jeremiah Fears and Ian Jackson. So they get a dude here from Arkansas who's been their best offensive player this year, up there with, I guess you could say, with Boogie Flynn this year, because John L. Davis has been kind of disappointing, which is a shame. But yeah, I think Diarra could score the basketball, and I think could be a nice wing for this team. Good size, though, at 6'8", and I think he's a good defender as well, and that's why he's going to go high. Cam Jones, not off the board yet. Ooh, Brooklyn going Carter Bryant at 27. I see the potential in Bryant, but man, I really think he should be... so this pick is via Houston. I really think he should stay another year at college. I don't know if he should transfer, but I think he should stay another year. But good size. If he has a three-point shot, you could really see him be like this hybrid wing that could be a power forward with this size and space the floor, and I like that. But I think I like some other guys off the board, but I think that's a good fit to a Brooklyn if it's any fit like that. Boston 28 getting Cam Jones. This can't happen. This can't happen. I love Cam Jones too much, and I can't see him go to the Celtics, but man, this would be a home run pick for them if somebody like Thomas Sorber is off the board. I think Danny Wolf could also be somebody Boston can look at with, I think Al Horford's days are dwindling, and he's looked like he's regressing a little bit this year, and Kristaps is uncertainty all the time, and his contract, I think they can go big, but if Sorber's off the board, I think it comes down to Jones or Wolf, and I love Cam Jones as a prospect. I do. I think he should go a little bit higher. His pro comp is Malik Monk. Noah Penda going to the Clippers at 29. Starting to learn a little bit more about Penda's game over there. Just a French prospect. I hear the Nick Batum. I feel like whenever I watch a broadcast, like I hear like Nick Batum's name come up a ton, and Penda is a fun, like crafty scorer as well. Game slows down for him. Clippers at 29. I like some other fits on the board. I think Danny Wolf could be somebody here, but I think, yeah, also a win-now player probably would make a little bit more sense. And Miles Bird here going to Utah from San Diego State, somebody that's now on my radar as well, that I'm learning a little bit more of. Good score, good confidence. I think can handle the ball in the pick and roll, and he's 6'7", 190, so I think could probably benefit putting on a little bit of weight, but looks like a fringe first-round talent right now. Gonna go a little bit more rapid fire in the second round. Alex Cameron, Boston. How does Boston has Washington's pick there at 31. I'm not sure if that's from like the Kristaps trade, but man, you get Alex Cameron and Cam Jones, so they double up on Big East upperclassmen. Oh my God. Yeah, I like Alex Cameron. I liked him more than I did in Barrett Shireman last year. And I think Danny Wolf, though, would be a good pick for them here at 31, with George Niang as the pro comp. We have Sergio De Laria going to the Hornets at 32, learning a little bit more about him. And I like the ball handling. I like the decision-making, can operate at a pick and roll. Could be like a nice backup point guard there to Charlotte. I'm just surprised Danny Wolf isn't off the board. Bogdan Bogdanovic is the player comp. Michael Ruzic, someone that's 6'10", you hope can be a floor spacer and can even grow, put on more weight over time at the power forward or center spot with Mo Wagner as the player comp. Ooh, I don't really like that comp. I think they have completely different games. Danny Wolf, Charlotte at 34. Oh my God, this is great value. So you get Danny Wolf and you get Sergio here in the second round. Add on VJ Edgecombe, that's a great draft. I really like Danny Wolf a ton. I think should go a little bit higher. Pro comparison is Delano Banton. That is a wild comp. What? What? All right. I would say even reminds me more of like a Franz Mo, which is such a lazy comp. I know Michigan, like I totally get that. But Delano Banton, I mean, he's what, 4 inches taller? Okay. Markovic going here to the Timberwolves. Don't know much about him over at Mega Basket. Poku, though, is the player comp. Why are we going project guys, though, to Minnesota? I don't know. Will Riley go to the Nets at 40 or 36? I'd rather Will Riley, go Illinois back-to-back years because you got Shannon Jr. last year going to Minnesota, but no, they got Will Riley going to Brooklyn. I think Riley could probably benefit staying another year of college. I do like the Keyshawn George comp a ton. Dink Pate, 37 from the G League. AJ Johnson comp. I like that as well, but I think he's a better defensive prospect already than AJ Johnson is, but I see that. We have Maxime Reynaud going to Dallas at 38. I could be butchering his last name. I apologize. Out of Stanford. Haven't been able to watch him a ton. I have so many guys that I'm getting to, and in my top 30 prospect video, a lot of people told me to start watching him, so he's on my radar. Don't worry. Learning more about him. His pro comp is Alex Len. Darren Williams from Texas Tech going to the Spurs at 39. I kind of like what he could be. Not like 3 and D wise, but I think just a little bit more well-rounded. 39 though, I think you're just taking a chance on him. This pick is via the Bulls. Spurs at 40 getting Jameer Watkins. Okay, a little bit more offensive minded. I think could have a little bit more of a 3-point shot than the other guys we had going before in Saraf and Nolan Traore. We have Rocco Sikarsky going to the Wizards at 41. Don't mind them taking a chance on him, but man, his draft stock is definitely fallen this year. I do like the Donovan Clingan pro comp, but it's so tough to evaluate what Clingan did at UConn to what Rocco is doing right now at Brisbane. We have Walter Clayton Jr., who's been the best player on a very good Florida Gators team, going this year 42 to the Thunder. Treyman 2.0. Fred VanVleet is the pro comp. Interesting. Sandin here going from Arizona State to Washington. I like them taking a chance on him. He's been up and down a little bit this year at Arizona State, but I see the vision. Not sure about Grunwa here going to Washington at 44. Currently from Germany. Not much, don't know much about his game. I'm going to butcher his name, so I don't even want to say it. I just don't know much about him. JT Toppin could also be a top 30 talent. One of the best scorers in college basketball right now at Texas Tech as well. Yeah, I'm surprised JT Toppin going after Darren Williams. Maybe it's just more like positional fit in the NBA. But Chicago gets, I think, very good talent there at 45. We have Yaxel Lendenberg, who I think could also be a little bit higher than this. Hybrid forward over at UAB. Phenomenal scorer. Jalen Slauson? Yeah, I don't remember him in college too much, but yeah, that's his player comp. Ryan Kalkbrenner to the Warriors at 47. I don't know if I like that fit for Golden State, but with Looney, we'll see about his future and what their center position could be, but I'd rather have somebody that can maybe space the floor at the 5 spot for them, but Kalkbrenner, I think, could be a good rim protector. Colin Castleton is the pro comp. Damn, it's a little rough. Janai Broom, 48. That is low. Maybe the injury hurts him, but I think the energy he plays, maybe some floor spacing, good mid-range jumper, just elite motor. I think that's way too low. Markieff Morris is the player comp. Chaz Laner going to the Lakers at 49. I like this. I love this, actually. If the Lakers get Chaz Laner in the second round, that is a home run pick for them. Seth Curry's the player comp. Andrej Stojakovic, son of Peja, who's been lighting it up for the California Bears as of late. I kind of like him as a prospect. Very intriguing, but I think a little bit more of a developmental guy. Pro comp is Romeo Langford. Xavier Lee going to 51. I think I like him a little bit more at Princeton. Fun ball handler, fun scorer, good court vision. His pro comp is Scottie Pippen Jr. Tyrese Proctor to the Magic at 52 via Duke. From Duke. Combo guard, you guys probably know a little bit more about him. Been in college for a little bit. Killian Hayes is the player comp. Mark Sears, Dallas at 53. That's funny because he's always had the Jalen Brunson player comp, or he did last year. He's not been as good for Alabama this year as he was last year, but I think Dallas, they got Boogie Flay earlier. Mark Sears here. What are we just going small guards for them in this draft? Mohamed Faye going to the Hornets at 54. Not too familiar with him from Senegal. Okay. Another big. They had Danny Wolf go earlier. Hunter Salas to the Knicks at 55. I love this. I think Hunter Salas was the top 40 guy last year. I think a fun combo guard that could dribble, pass, defend, shoot a little bit. Good basketball IQ. Oh my God, the Knicks, who don't have a first. If they get him in the second, I'd be excited as a Knicks fan. We have Tucker DeVries, the Drake transfer to West Virginia. I like that. That just seems like another Memphis hit in the second round. Player comp is Baylor Shireman. Ryan Hemard, brother of Andrew Nembhard, one of the best point guards in the country, going to the Magic 57. I don't know, would you have Ryan Nembhard or Braden Smith? Probably Nembhard for the NBA level, just because of the defense. All right, his pro comp is Andrew Nembhard. I don't know if that's lazy. Eric Dixon, man, one of the best scorers in college basketball as well at Nova, going to Houston at 58. They got Cam Whitmore from Nova in the past, and I think Dixon could be a nice find there. I'm cool with Dixon going in the second round. And then Peyton Sanford. Draft stock probably dropping a little bit. Could have been maybe a higher pick last year in a weaker draft. Good shooter out of Iowa, but you worry about the defense. And I believe there's only 59 picks. Yeah, because the Knicks, or no, some team, I think the Knicks forfeit their second. So yeah, where did that Knicks second come from, actually? I'm pretty sure the Knicks had to forfeit their second in this draft. Yeah, this pick is coming from Memphis. So that is me reacting to Bleacher Report's full 2-round mock draft with pro comparisons. That was maybe a little bit longer than I'd like it to be, but if you guys listen to me talk about the draft, I appreciate that a ton because I love to do this. And if you guys did enjoy on YouTube, appreciate you dropping a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what you guys think about this article or anything I said. And if you guys are listening on audio, Apple Podcast, Spotify, really appreciate a rating and review over there as well. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.